Equigerminal is a horse biotech that has been set up to find and cure newly identified equine diseases. They have discovered the equine equivalent of HIV, which they believe could be present in as much as 10% of the horse population.
We are Isabel and Alexandre, and we are the founders of Equigerminal. During my time at Oporto and Pittsburgh University and Equigerminal studying on equine virus, I came across unusual anemia and neurological signs in horses, which was being attributed to swamp fever. But I recognized through the samples that I took that the condition was actually closer to equine HIV.
She realised they were looking at a new disease, one which they are calling new equine virus, or NEV.
Isabel has been working on identifying NEV, and we have spent the last 5 years developing a test and a cure. We have just been granted an exclusive patent, so now we can raise awareness of the problem and start mass producing for diagnostics and treatment.
They released one short paper in a Portuguese journal, O Público, and it caused such a stir that the Portuguese Equestrian Federation sent a letter to every horse owner and vet asking them not to panic.
We were concerned about how quickly it was the progression of the disease, and we didn't know what kinds of disease we were fighting, and also the absence of treatment to this disease.
They've also received a grant of €285,000 from the Portuguese Horizon 2020 programme, which shows how seriously the authorities are taking the problem.
This company works in a specific field, in an area which is very different from other projects that we have, and where we can clearly identify a growth potential which is very interesting in international terms.
Equigerminal is headquartered in a fully operating laboratory, which already has over 80 clients who use the company for genetic testing and a broad range of equine health needs. This has allowed Equigerminal to develop a profile within the Portuguese horse community. However, their main objective is now to focus on identifying and curing NEV worldwide. Equine healthcare is big business. It's a market worth $24.5 billion. But unlike human healthcare, there are diseases that haven't yet been identified, let alone researched for a cure.
The world is not taking NEV that much seriously because they are not aware of it. So if you think on the story of AIDS, first you have people sick, then you identify that it was AIDS, and later on you identify HIV. So now what we know is that we have NEV, which is the cause of a given disease. If you think that you have a virus, and in that virus you have multiple proteins. Now imagine that you have a given protein. And one thing that we did it was to identify particular regions of that protein. And now that you know these regions, they can be used either to perform the diagnostic, if that protein is present or not, naming that the virus is present or not. But also by knowing these regions, you can now target drugs against these proteins and therefore targeted virus.
I heard about Equigerminal the first time in the contest of the best ideas, business ideas, in 2011 in Coimbra. It was a very interesting presentation from them. I think it's very important, the investment opportunity that we're talking about. Equigerminal is focusing on a disease that they discovered actually as scientists, and they are now trying to find ways to treat this disease and to diagnostic this disease. So it's a huge market, it's a very important disease, and it's also very interesting from the scientific point of view.
What I like most about Equigerminal is the team. In my experience, the team is really the key factor in order to succeed. So they are ready to produce, they are ready to deliver the results right now.
This campaign is as much about raising awareness of NEV as it is about making the money to mass produce the tests and the antiviral drugs.
We are turning to crowdfunding to engage people who care about horses and would like to invest in a company that is looking to help equine health. This will be with an investor who sees that we have developed a viable route to grow very quickly in this market.
You know, that's just impressive that you get to see this. When you are in the lab, you are not very close to the reality, so this is really striking. And it's awful actually to see that. Very sad. My research lab has been collaborating with Equigerminal and we have actually been developing tools in order to better characterize the proteins that are proteins from the virus, from the EV virus. So the idea is that if we actually understand the molecular mechanisms of all these proteins that are involved in the viral infection, we can actually design new therapies